Alright, how y'all doing out there? It's Instructor Dan.
Instructor Jim.
And we here at Tsun Talks with our special guest,
Shihan Khoury Porter.
So how you doing today, man? How you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm just glad to be on Tsun Talks, and this is a great thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm appreciative. You know what I'm
doing
saying?
It up.
And, it's a beautiful thing. Let's talk some martial arts.
Yeah, man. This is a nice school, man.
Thank
This
you.
ring is dope, man. So, yo, Shihan, how you got into martial arts, man?
Oh man. So let's see. I grew up in two places. I got to pay homage to both places that I grew up in. I grew up in New York City, in the Bronx, and also in Yonkers, New York, in Westchester County. And as a little boy, there used to be the Shaw Brothers, the Shaolin Kung Fu based movies on Saturday afternoons, 3 o'clock. And as a little kid, watching those, I was like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the popularity of Kung Fu through those movies was very popular, but there wasn't places to practice Kung Fu. There weren't, hospitals or dojos, schools, academies to practice. My first art was 5-animal Kung Fu. At the community center, or Marshall Community Center, the Montefiore Community Center. And he had us doing everything: the cat stance, the crane, the tiger claw. I know we used to do. There was a form like the dragon, all that stuff. And then I took up Shotokan. I had some people that trained in Shotokan used to teach me. And then I lied dormant for a few years. And then I had two friends that I went to elementary school, middle school, that studied American Kenpo karate. With an instructor named Shihan Perry in Yonkers, New York. I kind of dabbled in and out with it. And then many years later, I got with my present instructor, as an adult. And started practicing in his art, which is a combination of Ishinryu karate, Japanese combative jiu-jitsu. He developed his own system which is Haku-Ryu jiu-jitsu. The system of the 8th light,
You heard about that?
and Yotsuni Jiu-Jitsu. And those systems, Yotsuni Jiu-Jitsu was actually created by Grandmaster Michael D. Pasquale Sr. He was one of the first people to actually teach Japanese Jiu-Jitsu here in America, New Jersey. So my instructor, Soge Ray Rivera, trained with one of his black belts, and started learning Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. And he had his second dan in Ishinryu. So the system that I studied Senshitori with him started first primarily as a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu from those lineages, boxing and Ishinryu combined. So we had no judo, we had no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Those two arts got added in many years later.
So you could say, all right, so back then, you could say pretty much you knew about the importance of learning different things.
Oh,
The
definitely.
mold and everything, put everything together.
You naturally come into situations like repeatedly in a fight, like whether you be on the floor or whether you be in long distance, close range, right? So you want to don't even think of it as the art, just cover these areas. No matter what the art is, be comfortable in these areas, And but it sounds like you kept bouncing around. But was there something you were looking for, like specifically in a martial art? Or?
No, the funny story is when I met. So as a child, I think more was a financial thing. Because I'm a kid, teenager. I wasn't.
I had to take whatever I could.
Yeah, my parents paying for it. I had to basically try to figure it out, right? Then I was boxing. A guy I grew up with named Rob Scorpino. He broke me into the sport of boxing, art of boxing, as a practitioner. I always loved it. I was watching it from the time I was probably 6 or 7 years old. With the greats like Duran and Ray Leonard and those guys from that era. But as a practitioner, he got me into it. I had people who were always into what they did in the combat arts, combat sports. I didn't really have a specific art that I was like, I want to do that. I just knew in my heart I always wanted to be a black belt. I didn't know what it was going to be in, right? But I knew I wanted to reach and obtain the level of black belt, because that was something that, if you're not a practitioner of the art, you think when you become that first level of advanced practitioner, that is done. And we all know as martial artists, it actually starts.
Right.
The training starts when you get there.
So pretty much you spend the whole journey turning it into a knife, and then when you get to the black belt, it's time to how to use the knife.
Yes, 100% correct. So 100%,
definitely.
So when you when you make a goal and you achieve it, then all of a sudden you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like now what? You know what I mean? But now you have a totally different view on everything.
Right.
So
100%.
yeah, it's you're gonna make new goals. That's it. But like I said before, I was like, you want to make small steps, small goals. Because if you just shoot for the highest goal ever, it's like you're gonna get discouraged. And that's it.
Definitely, you have to take baby steps.
But was there anything that you ever experienced in any of these martial arts you took that you were like, you know what, I don't like that. You know what I mean? I prefer to do something else.
Yeah, I think any traditional martial art discipline, there's things that you probably are not going to prefer, you're not going to like, right? I can say for me, it was probably Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because when I first started the art, for like probably 18 months, man, like a year and a half, I used to get tapped out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it was like so.
At least you know it works.
Yeah. It was so fun, bro. I was like, man, come on, bro. I'm a bigger guy, you know. My hips don't move well. I got a knee injury. This stuff. I'm trying to do it. I'm like, man, I don't get it. And at that time too, 15, 16 years ago, YouTube wasn't prevalent. Instagram wasn't prevalent.
No.
Twitter wasn't prevalent. Any of these social media platforms where you can have videos to see and go, wow, look at that. And it wasn't available.
They're so lucky today to have that.
Now all these people that do it, they can watch these videos and go, oh, that's how you do that. Okay. I didn't have that luxury. So for me, it was kind of like being out of my element completely. But I didn't quit because the system that I practice, still practice to this day, that's one of the pieces. It's like you have your hand. Okay? Your pinky, you may not be too fond of because you're an index guy or you're a thumb guy.
True.
But it's part of the hand.
Yeah.
You need it
for something.
Yeah, you need it, right? So that was kind of like the thing. So,
Oh, Shihan. So I mean, going into these most traditional schools, I know there's a lot of them that's not really flourishing how they used to. But what do you think some of the things that's missing in today's martial arts? Whether it's MMA schools or.
I think what's missing is a lot of instructors, no matter what the discipline is, don't tap into the student when he or she walks in the door of what they're trying to accomplish.
I agree with that 100%.
I think that's the main thing. I think, business for so many humble owners and dojo owners and academy and gym owners, they miss that part to ask the student, hey, what are your expectations? Where do you see yourself with this particular system or any system outside of this that you're doing or in accordance with this? And that's the main thing I think. See, we say practitioner because we're martial artists, and a lot of people that may be watching this are martial artists. But for the people who are not martial artists, and martial artists means warlike or military way. Okay? The problem is the layperson who walks into the school, the martial arts school, doesn't realize, don't come here to lose weight. Come here to hone yourself into a high standard, upstanding, high integrity, moral individual that learns a skill set that he or she can use to defend themselves by any means necessary. That's what it's for.
All right, so in today's world now and stuff we're living in and stuff, what would you say, you feel like everybody should learn martial arts? Is there a certain thing, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Kung Fu?
I think every martial art, no matter what system of martial art it is, I mean, I want people to understand out there that no matter what your background is, your culture, nationality, your gender, every indigenous people to the planet Earth had their own system of combat.
True.
Okay?
At one time or another.
At one time or another, right? Some certain countries have made it more popular. It's like this. Who gets the credit? The person who builds the car or the person who paints it and makes it look the way that you perceive it? The person who paints it. So some nations in our world have a certain stronghold grip on the mind of how people perceive martial arts, right? But I think people need to obtain martial arts skill because acts of terrorism. I mean, obviously you can't bring a knife to a gunfight, or you know what I'm saying, or form, you know what I'm saying, to explosives or something like that. But in the state of society that we are, as our society keeps moving forward, and I think a lot of issues like mental health and self-esteem, all kinds of stuff that way.
Bullying and all that stuff.
I think people need to have a grasp of how to defend themselves because it gives you such a level of confidence.
That's what I was going to say too.
Such a level of confidence that, you know what, I know that if I had to fight for my life, at whatever point that may be, whether I'm 9 or 90, I could, for at least 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, might get this person or people or whatever, you know, change the situation. You know, and I think that's why people should train.
All right, now Instructor Dan here, Instructor Jim. We got Shihan Porter here. We're gonna go into technique time.
Okay, so every single physical altercation that we call a fight starts standing. A lot of people have this concept that it always ends up on the ground. I don't, you know, like we talked in our segments with the different myths, beliefs, and stuff. I don't know why people have this concept in their head that every fight ends up on the ground. So I'm actually gonna touch on how the physical part of it starts standing, from striking, grabbing, and then we'll end up from the ground and incorporate concepts from arts like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We're gonna bring our hands up to position. I always tell people, if I can't touch my face, I'm not on home base. If my hands can't touch my jaw, I'm probably touching the floor. To my face, right? He comes here, you see that? This is the half peekable. This is a full, this is a half. Now this free hand allows me to do what now? I can block, parry away, checking at his elbow. I can block, changing my level, pivot my hip, and pivot my back foot off the ball of my feet, and strike with it like Wing Chun, right? So I can come here and punch an attack here, up into the obliques, attacking into the rib cage, or even coming up into his pectoral, or even I could even attack under the underarm here. Into his muscles. It's bringing it to say if we want to use it like for karate, Muay Thai, Kung Fu arts that we use our legs. Peekaboo, defense, block right, throws that punch. Good, see that? Perfect. I strike. Now what I want to do is I need space. I need to create space so that I can extend the next strike for my legs. Low, and I'm gonna pivot on the ball of my feet and attack his heart and lung meridian line, okay? With the low level leg kick, right? Roundhouse wheel kick, whatever way you call it. See, so 1, 2, step, chamber, and plank. Okay, so let's run through it again. He throws a straight punch to me, right? Boom, I eat it. I change level, strike, I step, kick. But from this, I don't realize this guy's a wrestler. Oh man. Done, takes me down. This position now that I'm gonna bring Instructor Dan in is what's called a closed guard. Okay, so this is gonna enable me to lock my legs around him and keep him in a position where he can't be advantageous to say sit on top of me, which we call mount, okay? Or to take some type of side control on me. So now he can rain down big punches. I'm gonna do the same concept that I was doing standing. I'm gonna utilize my half peekaboos and my strikes. See? Now he has to defend as well. See? At some point, I'm gonna have to say this is a position that I don't wanna be in. I don't know who he's with. I don't know what he has on him. I don't know what he has in him. Is it alcohol or some type of drug? I don't know what's happening. So now instead of he's throwing big wide punches, I'm waiting for the big wide punch. And what I'm gonna do now is I lock one arm on what we call an overhook around the elbow. Around the elbow. I keep this free hand overhook and trap it right here against his pectoral and shoulder muscle. So if he tries to pull the arm out, it's very difficult for him to do it. And now I can use another art, say karate. You see UFC, hammer fist him, attacking, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my feet apart. And we're gonna do what's called in grappling in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the grappling arts, where we're gonna hip escape or shrimp. Okay, so I'm gonna hip escape now to my right side and get my left leg to his hip. Still keeping my overhook. And I want to extend at his hip. See? Extend at his hip. I still control the arm. Now I bring my other foot to his hip, slide it down to his knee, and I'm going to push it out. Once I push it out, I transfer his arm over. I come here, and now it's a different ball game. And I plant my arm, my forearm to the ground, I'm gonna grab my forearm with the other hand and I'm just gonna pull up. Nice and easy.
That's our show for today. We got, Shihan, thanks for, inviting us in our, in your school today. Instructor Jim, you have anything to
I just
give
want to thank you for all that knowledge, because you showed a great transition of all different ranges,
Appreciate it.
My magic trick, Hudsonvalleyacademy. God,
We're located at 27 North Middletown Road in Nanuet, New York, in beautiful Rockland County.
All right, so guys, tune in. You already know Lithium-Tiger. Subscribe on YouTube to get all these shows. This is episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3. We go back and look at episode 1. Shihan Talks. Guys, bow out. Peace.